Creating interesting designs, even if they're relatively simple, in our perspective work can be a huge aspect of the creative process. However, manipulating these designs in perspective can be a major hurdle. There are very few reference points to anchor onto when working with these simple tools, so we'll just have to make our own. How would you react if I told you you've already learned the secret formula? Yeah, you've already used it. In our previous exercises, we were able to break down our planes just enough to help us place our circles and ellipses properly. We can simply tweak this technique to create even more points of reference wherever and whenever you need them. We're going to look at 3 different planes to help illustrate the technique. First, we'll look at this technique from head-on, and then I'll demonstrate how you can transfer your design onto another plane. Let's get started. First, I establish the boundaries of my 3 planes. On the left, one is facing us directly. In the middle, I construct a horizontal plane. And then on the right, I construct a vertical plane. If you recall, even though we're only using one vanishing point in this example, the process is the same when creating a single plane in 2-point perspective. Looking at the first plane, we start off just like we always do, dividing the plane, as shown in pink, by connecting opposite corners to make our X pattern. Then we will use that X to draw in both our vertical and horizontal centers directly on this plane. Notice now that we can start to consider this not as one big plane, but a pattern of 4 smaller rectangles separated by your vertical and horizontal lines. From here, we can start to break down our new smaller rectangles. I'm going in with lavender, and at first it may appear that I'm just drawing a diamond, but that's not what you need to be paying attention to. It's crossing over the first X, creating 4 smaller sets of X's within these new rectangular boundaries. This time, we will draw in 2 vertical and 2 horizontal lines that intersect these new sets of X's. Each one of our boxes now has 4 new but smaller boxes inside of each of them, creating a set of 16 boxes. I'm lowering the opacity so that I can clearly show you the next layer. In the same fashion, I start to create even smaller X's in our now 16 boxes. I draw in 4 new vertical and horizontal dividing lines to divide these boxes further. At this point, we have a staggering 64 boxes to work with. Fortunately for you, this is as far as we're going. But can you see the potential? Not only can we divide our planes infinitely in this manner, we now have an unlimited amount of anchor points to carefully rely on if necessary. And all we did was divide our plane a couple of times. I'm going to go through and repeat this technique in perspective. The process is exactly the same. The only difference is now that we are going to rely on a vanishing point. I'm going to be creating a very simple design on our first plane. I will draw in a curved line in the top right corner box, repeating that but mirrored in the box below, and then draw a horizontal line connecting the second box to the next column. I repeat this pattern until I hit the bottom of the plane. Next, I'm going to repeat and transfer this design onto the right-hand side of my plane, doing everything just the same but mirrored. Notice how easy it was to repeat this pattern thanks to the grid of reference points we created. What's really amazing about this is that we can easily transfer this to our horizontal plane just by repeating the exact same pattern in the corresponding boxes. This pattern has been successfully transferred onto our drawing plane with just the right amount of foreshortening, with very little effort. Watch as I repeat the pattern on our vertical plane. You can easily use this technique to rotate the design as well. So I turn the pattern just to show you how easy it is to do it. You will be able to easily create your design and mirror, turn, or completely move your patterns freely with this technique.